Hi everyone, it's David from Tackle Share, and today is all about yellow perch. So that is the species that Taylor and I are going to be ice fishing for, and hopefully we'll land them next week, or the following week. But we just want to give a little background about yellow perch because there are lots of species in Ontario, and we wanted to talk about what differentiates yellow perch from the other species. And I thought what better place to do it than with the background of the record fish wall for Ontario at the OFAH Mario Cortellucci Hunting and Fishing Heritage Center. So you'll see some fish behind me, and let me just walk you along here. So we'll get to yellow perch in a minute, but we've got mounts of every record fish caught in Ontario. They're replicas, but let's walk over this way and I'll show you the background of what you can see when this center opens up after the pandemic ends. So over here, we've got the cold water fish wall, and these are all species that thrive in cold water. Salmon, trout, they're really quite large examples because they're the largest caught in Ontario. And then as we go over to the warm water species, which is what a lot of us are going to be fishing for this year because they're a little bit easier to catch. They're in warmer, shallower water. You'll see it wraps around the wall, but these are all warm water fish, hence the greenish color as opposed to the deep blue. So I'm going to set up with yellow perch because right in front of us there, you'll see on the wall, yellow perch is what we're going to be talking about. So let me just get set up and I'll describe it and its unique characteristics. Okay, we're all set up in front of the yellow perch, and I just wanted to mention that the facts that I am referencing today can be found on our fish fact sheets at tackleshare.com. So if you want to follow along or keep these facts about all the species that we're going to be going for this year, please go to our website and download the yellow perch fact sheet. I will also put it in the description of the video for this one. That's where I'm referencing, and if you have any other suggestions for fishing tips, please let us know, and we will try those out this year. This again is the record sized fish based by weight in Ontario. So you and I probably aren't going to catch a fish this large, and if you do, please submit it as the new record. But it gives you an idea of what yellow perch look like when you're out learning to fish or going out if you're more experienced. So the key takeaways for identification to differentiate yellow perch from other species is an elongated body with green or brown back. So again, they have an elongated body. This one is a bit wider than normal because it's a record fish and it's got quite a large stomach. Most of the ones you see and that hopefully Taylor and I catch next week are going to be much smaller and elongated, a bit narrower body shape. You can see this one has the golden brown back coloration on top. And then what's more common for me to identify them are the sides are usually yellow-green color, which this one has a great yellow-green color with dark vertical stripes. And usually there's 7. So in this case, if we count the vertical stripes, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there's actually a 7th here right before the tail. So if you have 7 vertical stripes with a yellow green side, chances are that is a yellow perch. And then the other way that adds to the quick identification on certainly my end are that the lower fins are usually red or orange. So there's 3 fins here. The pectoral fins are orange as well as this back fin. So with the orange fins, green, yellow body, and the striping, that's almost always a really quick identifier for a yellow perch. As for habitat, they're very adaptable. So you can find them in warm and cool water, large and small lakes, ponds, and rivers, which is great for beginner anglers like you and I because they are found everywhere in most lakes, and you're going to have a chance at catching them because they often stay near some weedy growth, which is usually along the shoreline. And those of us like myself and you at home without an access to boats can fish them from the shoreline quite easily. They do prefer water with moderately clear water itself and weed growth. So they do like some weeds, they don't like lakes that are completely weeded out, and they also like some clear water, but not completely clear like you might see in the tropical Caribbean waters, where you can see crystal clear for hundreds of meters. They prefer water temperatures near 20 degrees Celsius, so that's usually found in the summer months where the water temperature increases. They're going to be using that warmth to grow in the summer months and use that for energy. Spawning patterns, you can find them spawning between mid-April to early May, and that really depends on the water temperature. It needs to be between 6 and 12 degrees Celsius. That typically happens in the spring between April and May, when the ice is off the lakes and the sun is getting through to the water and warming it up slowly. And then going back to the temperature of 20 degrees Celsius, that's where they start to really grow in the summer months. But they're going to lay their eggs and they're going to spawn in April to May between 6 and 12 degrees Celsius. You're going to find them spawning in shallow areas near woody debris or rooted plants, and the reason is twofold. A, that's where they're going to be more protected from other fish that want to eat them, but also it gives their eggs a better chance of surviving and hatching and then growing. If you find their eggs, they're going to be long, transparent, jelly-like masses about 2 inches in diameter that can be several feet long. So 2 inches, maybe that's like a toonie, but then several feet long, it's going to be one big mass of jelly eggs. And a 10-inch female can lay up to 61,000 eggs. The reason they lay so many eggs, like a lot of fish species, are only a handful of them actually grow to maturity or to adult size, so they need to lay a lot of eggs so that a few of them can survive. Their diet is almost exclusively on aquatic insects, especially when they're young, and then as they get older, other small fish, including other yellow perch. So the one that you and I are looking at in front of us, this is a very large fish, and it will certainly be eating some smaller fish as well as aquatic insects. But when they're very young and their mouths are smaller and they're not as fast as some of the minnows, they're going to be eating aquatic insects to get bigger. And you're going to find that they feed most aggressively in the mornings and evenings. So that's a good thing for you and I to keep in mind, especially in the open water of the summer months, is that if you want to catch them, your best bet is to go out in the early morning or in the evening when the water temperature cools off from maybe a high of 25 degrees with the sun at the surface. And in the morning and evening, the temperature kind of gets closer to that 20 degrees Celsius, where they really prefer, they like that temperature, and they're going to be feeding the temperature's not quite as hot. The age and size for yellow perch, they can live between 9 and 10 years old. So this fish, when it was caught, was probably close to that because it is such a large individual. They're usually 6 to 12 inches long. If you catch one that's 12 inches or longer, you can submit it to the Ontario Angler Award program and get recognized for catching a minimum length of 12 inches. And then the Ontario record weight, which we're looking at in front of us, is 2.52 pounds. So they're not really heavy fish the way some of the trout or the muskie or the sturgeon that we showed at the start of this video are, but 2.5 pound yellow perch is a very big perch. They're typically going to be caught in lakes that have a lot of warmth and vegetation growth for aquatic insects to feed off of. So this one was caught in Lake Erie in 2018, this record fish. And in terms of fishing tips, it really depends whether you're fishing through the ice like Taylor and I will be. We're going to be trying some jigs with some wax worms, maybe some minnows as well. And then other popular ones in the summertime when you're off the shoreline fishing would be to use small minnows, like worms, grubs, as well as jigs and spinners. So we'll show you what those look like, and hopefully you can follow along and catch them on your own too with our help. And we really want to see your photos catching them too, because we're only able to do this if it benefits you. And I'd love to see our passion for fishing through catches that you send our way. So stay tuned for that, and we'll have some fun prizes to do once you submit your catches. And the nice thing about yellow perch is that they generally are open all season. So we talked about the regulations. If you miss those videos, go back to them from the last couple videos, but you can catch yellow perch year round and keep upwards of 30, 50, or even 100 in your possession. So once you start to catch some of them in a large school, you're going to start to catch them one after the other. And if you do want to keep them to eat, it's relatively easy to get a lot in a short time frame to make a nice meal out of it with your friends and family. So that's a basic overview of yellow perch in Ontario. Again, the key takeaways that Tackle Share wants to have you remember are the look again. So the greenish yellow body, stripes, and the orange fins, and that they're one of the easiest fish to start catching with for kids or new anglers of any age. And we're going to show you how to catch them. So stay tuned for the next video. Thank you very much for watching, and please like or subscribe the video so that we can keep doing this as we cover many of the other fish species on the Record Fish Wall. All right, take care everyone.